In 2022, the Jeep Wagoneer made a pretty big splash when it joined the full-size SUV segment, offering tons of space and features. For 2026, Jeep has updated it with new styling and a new name, now combining the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer nameplates. So is this 2026 Jeep Grand Wagoneer the best full-size SUV to buy? Let's go ahead and find out. As always, let's begin by talking about the pricing and the trim level. For 2026, the Grand Wagoneer starts at about $63,200, which is about $22,000 less than last year's model. That is because they are now combining the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer nameplates, so the Grand Wagoneer is both a mainstream and luxury SUV. All the trim levels except for the Summit Obsidian and the Summit Reserve are considered mainstream SUVs, so this competes with vehicles like the Chevrolet Tahoe and GMC Yukon. The top two trims will compete with vehicles like the Lincoln Navigator and the Cadillac Escalade. Now we have the base model today, which starts at about $63,000, but as tested with four-wheel drive and plenty of options, this one is optioned to about $72,000. Let's go ahead and see what you get for the price. The Grand Wagoneer looks radically different for 2026. The main grille isn't the 7-slot design anymore, it is actually this big black piece at the bottom with two tow hooks. The lighting also looks very different for 2026. It is going to be fully LED and looks very premium, especially compared to the competitors. You get a full-length light bar as well as accent lights at the bottom. There's a projector-style LED headlamp and sequential LED turn signals. This will definitely stand out on the road. It also has some pretty cool animations. Let's go ahead and check those out. Moving to the wheels, you will find these 20-inch gloss black and aluminum wheels on the base model. There's a good amount of sidewall, but this is honestly a good enough reason to not get the base model in my opinion. I think, to my eyes, they look hideous and I would definitely get a different trim level just to avoid these wheels. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Taking a look at the side profile, there's gloss black trim surrounding the windows as well as fixed running boards at the bottom. There's also Grand Wagoneer branding on the door itself, and there's gloss black trim surrounding the windows. The mirrors are finished in gloss black and they have all the features including heating, blind spot monitoring, auto dimming, and power folding. Taking a look at the rear end design, there's a gloss black finished bumper at the bottom and this cool texture piece for the license plate holder. There is some chrome trim that runs across the back as well, and as far as the taillights are concerned, they're going to be fully LED. You get an LED brake light, an LED reverse light that is integrated into the bumper, and an LED turn signal. The turn signals have dynamic abilities, and I do like how the top brake light goes very far across the back. Now let's check out the interior of the Grand Wagoneer and see what is offered for about $72,000. The base model Grand Wagoneer, which we have today, is considered a mainstream SUV, competing with vehicles like the Chevrolet Tahoe and Ford Expedition, so you shouldn't really be expecting many luxury features on this model. On the door panel, you will find soft-touch plastic, aluminum, and gloss black trim through the top, as well as two-person memory seating. There's leather padding on the armrest, and at the bottom, there's plenty of storage space as well as an Alpine speaker grille. The seats are going to be made of real leather as standard equipment, which is quite nice. Heating, ventilation, and 12 ways of power adjustment are standard as well. You can also get massaging and 24 ways of adjustment on the luxury trims. Now let's check out the rest of the Grand Wagoneer's interior. Starting with the steering wheel, it is going to be very nicely leather-wrapped and heated. There's some stitching on the inside part of it, and there's matte black plastic finishing the buttons. Additionally, the airbag cover is finished in matte black plastic, and there's Grand Wagoneer branding in the middle. However, the top two trims will have this finished in leather. There's some nice trimming below here, and I absolutely love this two-spoke design with the chunky area at the bottom. The gauge cluster goes unchanged for 2026, which I'm not necessarily mad about because I didn't have any complaints about the last one. You can customize the gauges with these buttons over here, so you can customize what information is being displayed. This is my personal favorite, and you can change the overall design of it. Also, I absolutely love the turn signal sound. Take a listen. Additionally, there's a blind spot camera that turns on if you turn on the turn signal. Materials definitely could be better in the base Grand Wagoneer. The upper dash is finished in a soft touch plastic, and there's some stitching details down here. There is some more brushed aluminum trim through here like we saw on the steering wheel, and there's a good amount of gloss black through here. By the way, on the upper two trims, this area is going to be a screen for the climate controls. Also, I want to point out that this is made of real metal and it feels super high quality. Storage is quite good, as it should be for a large full-sized SUV. Push on this piece of gloss black to reveal a large wireless phone charging pad, a little felt-lined area beside that, and multiple USB ports. Push on this piece of brushed aluminum to reveal two cup holders, a little slot for your phone, and this is where you put the key fob, which is a little cubby right here. By the way, this is what it looks like. It goes mostly unchanged except for the Jeep branding on the back instead of Grand Wagoneer. Also on the trims that have the air suspension, there's a button on the key fob so that you can lower the air suspension, which is quite cool. For the center console, you can slide this piece back to reveal a felt-lined area with two USB ports, and open up this whole thing to reveal a massive center console with felt lining. Climate controls are physical buttons and toggles on the Grand Wagoneer, which is unchanged for the refresh. Use this toggle to adjust the temperature, and use this toggle to adjust the fan speed. By the way, these toggles feel very high quality and satisfying to use. Additionally, you can go into the comfort menu to access other things if you don't want to use these toggles right here. And you will have heated and ventilated seats as standard equipment, which is quite nice to see. These buttons can be a little bit finicky sometimes, so just be aware of that. Also, on the higher two trims, you will have a screen down here to adjust all the climate controls and the massaging seats. When it comes to the main infotainment system, the Grand Wagoneer has the latest software from Stellantis. It is called Uconnect 5, and I would say it still works fairly well in 2026. However, it is getting a little bit dated compared to the new refresh competitors like the Ford Expedition and GMC Yukon. One thing that I like about the system is that you can customize what widgets are being displayed, so you can pull up pitch and roll, so in case you are going off-roading, you can see that right at a glance. There's also built-in navigation as well as wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Now, one 2026 change to the system is not the system itself, but the screen size. Especially compared to last year's Wagoneer model, the bezels are a lot slimmer, which is nice to see. Now let's check out the shifter and the cameras. The shifter is located down here and is a traditional rotary dial. It is very easy to use, and because it is made of real metal, it is very high quality. Go one notch over for reverse, and that will bring up a standard 360 backup camera. This has multiple different angles and is fairly high resolution. Now let's go ahead and see how the parking sensors work using my tripod as an example of an obstacle. So pulling up here, so far no noises. Okay, as we get closer, there's a little graphic that shows up right there. And right here, and the topography turns yellow, which is a very nice detail. As we get closer, the beeping should continue and get faster. And when we're really close, the topography will turn red and so will the graphic. So I would say the parking sensors work very well in this new Jeep Grand Wagoneer. To put it in park, just go all the way over to the left. I also want to point out that there is an auto park feature, which is standard equipment. Up top, there's an auto dimming rearview mirror, a digital one is optional, a sunglasses holder, which is a rare feature in new cars nowadays, and a large panoramic sunroof as standard equipment. Now let's see what the passenger side is like on the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. On the door panel, there is plenty of storage space at the bottom, a leather armrest, and soft-touch plastic and aluminum on the upper part. The seats are made of the same real leather and they have heating, ventilation, and 12 ways of power adjustment. Overall, they are nicely padded and very comfortable. On the dash, there is soft-touch plastic, brushed aluminum trim, and vents. The top two trims actually offer a passenger side screen, which is good for setting the navigation, playing music, watching entertainment, or playing video games. The glove box is actually pretty tiny for a large full-size SUV, so just keep that in mind. It is going to be felt-lined. Now let's check out the second row because this is very important on a large family SUV. On the door panel, you will find plenty of storage space at the bottom, leather trim on the armrest, and soft touch plastic on the upper part. Sunshades are offered on higher trims. The seats are made of the same real leather and they have manual adjustments but no heating. Captain's chairs are standard but a bench seat is available. In the second row of the Grand Wagoneer, there is tons of legroom and headroom. There's a good sized seatback pocket and there's a nice vent over here which is going to give you extra airflow. In the middle, you will find a third zone of climate control, a little storage cubby, multiple USB ports, and multiple power outlets. Additionally, there are cup holders down here with a little slot for your phone. That's the second row of the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Let's go ahead and check out the third row next. In case you forgot to fold up the seats, you can push these buttons right here instead of having to go all the way around to the trunk. This is very convenient and will save a lot of time. To get into the third row, just push this button right here. This car has the car seat tilt, so you won't have to remove a car seat in the process. In the third row of the Grand Wagoneer, there's loads of legroom and headroom. The crazy thing is that this only increases if you get the Grand Wagoneer L. For amenities, you will find an armrest, a storage cubby, a cup holder, multiple USB ports, and buttons to recline the third row of seats. This is very rare for the segment and very nice to see. Additionally, there's a manual shade for the third row sunroof. To exit the third row, just push this button right here. Overall, I am thoroughly impressed with the third row on the Grand Wagoneer. Even though this isn't the long wheelbase version, you can easily fit 3 adults comfortably across. Now let's check out the cargo area and see how much stuff you can bring along for the trip. To open the trunk, you can use the standard hands-free power tailgate or use the button on the key fob. This will open the tailgate relatively quickly. Behind the third row, there is 27.9 cubic feet of space. There's also a hook and a power outlet to the right side. There's plenty of storage space underneath the floor, and to fold down the third row seats, just push these buttons right here. That will give you 70.8 cubic feet of space, which is also quite good. To fold down the second row seats, just push these buttons in front right here. That will give you a maximum of 116.7 cubic feet of space. All of these figures are very usable and absolutely insane. They only increase if you get the Grand Wagoneer L, which gives you up to 44 cubic feet behind the third row. The third row seats will power fold back up, which is quite nice, but you will have to manually fold up the second row of seats. To close the trunk, just push the button. Now let's see what is powering the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Right now, a lot of people are talking about the range-extending powertrain, which is going to pair a V6 engine to an electric motor as well as a battery pack, but right now that is not on sale. For 2026, all models come standard with a 3-liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder engine. This makes 420 horsepower and 468 pound-feet of torque. That is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission and gets 14 mpg in the city, 18 on the highway, and 16 combined. These are not bad power figures for the segment, but unfortunately, the high output version is not available anymore. That made 510 horsepower and was previously available on the luxury versions. When it comes to competition, the Grand Wagoneer competes with full-size SUVs and luxury full-size SUVs depending on the trim level. With this being the base model, it competes with vehicles like the Chevrolet Tahoe LT, the Ford Expedition Active, the GMC Yukon Elevation, and the Nissan Armada Platinum. Let me know which one you would buy in the comment section down below. For dimensions, this car is 215 inches long and 84 inches wide. Well, that is going to wrap up this video on the 2026 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Overall, I think Jeep made some pretty good changes for 2026 and I absolutely love the new design. I think that they could have updated the main infotainment system, but overall everything about this vehicle is amazing. There's plenty of space in all 3 rows, a massive cargo area, and I love the way it drives as well. But would you buy this over the Chevrolet Tahoe or the Ford Expedition? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.